Hello. Oh, from my glamping tent with my Duchess. Oh my goodness, you guys, look at this before and after of Duchess. So I think it was like 7 months ago, this before here. And then now she is just the most beautiful, chunky little monkey. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So much. I'm still in this bad boy, but all good. It's healing. Zima made that mess. It's water and mud. And then Arlo is over there in his bed. Zima's bed. The bed looks exactly like Arlo, so I don't know if you can see where Arlo is and where the bed is. I got a bed frame here, so make that today. And then I have, my bed is so dirty right now because I just went on full watch, like went to go watch the birth of this baby horse, which didn't happen yet. But we were so sure, and so Zima and Arlo escaped the fence and then came over to the foal area to Maisie's stall, and Zima was pawing at the stall to come in because we were in there. So I asked one of the volunteers, to bring them back, and then they just made a little mess in my tent while we were gone. In other news, I made a vlog on this. I'll upload it probably after this, but baby Aslan was born, and that's my puppy, if you guys don't know, and he's a Kangal puppy, which is also known as the Anatolian Shepherd. Some people say they're different, but pretty much they're the same breed. So smart, so loyal. They're livestock guardians. They're not typically pets, but we have a few here on the farm, and I love the breed so much, and I always kind of see myself being on a farm or with land, whether it's this farm or my farm in Ireland or somewhere else, New Zealand, I don't know. But I also see myself traveling a lot in the van, which, if you don't know, I have a van. I live in my van. Well, I don't really live in my van anymore. Now I live in this glamping tent, but my van is over there. I live like between the two. And so traveling by van, and then also would like to buy a sailboat in the next year or so and travel by sailboat, and kind of just always being on the move and having home bases everywhere. So with that means that I would really like to have a guardian with me and a protector. And when I travel with Zima, who's outside, she's a livestock guardian too. She belongs to the farm. Like, she's the top bitch of all, like, 60 dogs here, which is important for packs. She makes me feel so safe, and like my nervous system can just and relax. And so I just knew that I wanted a guardian with me, and Arlo, and now Duchess too. And I know my life is kind of crazy, and I love it. I could so see us like all on a sailboat together with my future husband whenever he arrives, and just like sailing the world for a few months. And dogs can adapt. I've lived on boats before. Dogs can adapt pretty well on a boat, usually, especially like with some training. We can do like a little pee pad somewhere. It's not like the most ideal space for both my Australian Shepherd poodle mix, Arlo, and a livestock guardian like a Kangal. But like for a short amount of time, I think that they could adapt pretty well, especially if the boat's like a catamaran and had room to roam. I think it'd be so fun to do adventures like that together. And so I'm super excited about this time. I know, like, I've shared with you guys a lot of tragic stuff that has happened recently, which has been, like, not a lot, but it was really tragic to lose Ladybug. Ladybug is my rescue horse, you guys know. To lose her babies. Didn't know that she had twins, and so one of the twins died in the belly, killed the other baby, and they came out stillbirth a few weeks ago. That was like so heartbreaking. And then I started doing PT with Ladybug and walking her and trying to keep her, or get her like energy out and her antsiness. Now that she didn't have the babies anymore, she was like full of crazy energy. And she also has wobblers, and so she needed to like get out and start moving and building muscles and going up hills. And we had a beautiful sunrise walk, but then it ended up where we got stuck in a rope. She freaked out. I tripped over the rope because it wrapped around us, and then she trampled me. And like, by the grace of God, like I think she did everything she could, and it was a miracle. She didn't step on my head or kill me or break something. Like, it was such a miracle. And I just love her for it. And so, yeah, it's been a wild year. I'm in my Saturn return, and if you guys don't know, it's like around like 27 to like 31 is when you could be in your Saturn return. You can like look up Saturn return generator and put in your information and like birth time, birth location, birth date, and it will tell you when your Saturn return is. Saturn is like all your uncomfortable parts of yourself and things that, will help you grow through your karma and everything. And so I'm in my Saturn return, and luckily I've been on like this spiritual journey for a decade now. My catalyst was a decade ago. It was a car accident, and chronic illness happened after that and all this stuff. So all these things that brought me to my level of awareness that I'm currently at. And so I felt like going into Saturn return, I was like pretty ready. Like I knew that it would be intense, but like I had the tools, and I do have the tools. But that's not to say that like just because you have the tools and you've gone through a spiritual awakening for a decade or however long, that you're never going to have contrast and challenging parts of your existence. That's the contrast is what helps you grow. Experiencing what you don't want is what helps you create what you do want. And the instant that you experience what you don't want, you create what you do want. That comes from Abraham Hicks, but it really resonates with me. And so, it's like your free will is the most incredible, powerful thing that you have. And so just by thought, like, oh no, I don't like this, you're choosing then what you do like. Whether you're like aware of what it is that you're choosing, it's on the other end of the stick. That's what Abraham Hicks talks about. And I know there's different opinions about it, but like just hearing this message really has always stuck with me. It's like it's like a stick, and there is no what you don't want or what you don't want without what you do want. Like, they're on the same end of the stick. And so as soon as you bring into awareness what you don't want, then what you do want is brought into awareness too, and then created. As soon as it's like brought into your attention, into your awareness, you bring it forward towards you. Whatever your attention is, your energy flows. And so you are such a powerful creator. And so really just take this moment, I think, right now to focus on like, what have you been focusing on? For me, it's like my family and friends, mostly my friends. There's certain people in my like extended family who I'm super close with, but my close family, there's a lot of karma there, I think, right now. And so some of my family members and my friends have just been so sweet and like checking in, like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, what a crazy month or whatever, and blah blah blah. And like, yeah, it has been, but at the same time, like, my attention is on like the beautiful things. Like the birth of those puppies yesterday was like, oh my God, you're just popping out life. Like, how fascinating. And then like this full watch, like, I'm exhausted. We're exhausted. We've been on full watch for over 2 weeks now, and that part's exhausting, sure, but I'm not going to really focus on the negativity of that. I'm focusing on how sweet it is that this is like a bonding experience between all of us on the farm. I know I've shared on here before that, I was having trouble with some people on the farm. Like, there was conflict for quite a long time between me and some of the people on the team. And that like was resolved and met with forgiveness and love and like just moving on. And like we entered a new timeline together, and now we're all really like bonding so much over this experience of full watching and waiting for life to come through. And it's like focusing on that is super special. Focusing on the fact that Ladybug got accepted to this veterinary trial or clinic, or what would we call it? Like, they're studying wobblers, which is so perfect for her. So she was accepted into this for like an incredible rate, where she will get answers of how she got wobblers, how we can help mitigate it, and ease her symptoms, if she can be ridden, if she can carry a foal again, all these things. And so I started a fundraiser because this could be like an extensive thing, like maybe if she needs surgery in Germany or something, like it can go on for a little while. So if you want to be a part of that journey, it means the absolute world to us here at this nonprofit animal rescue. And so I've started a GoFundMe if you want to donate to Ladybug's beginning stages of getting answers and healing and like having a second chance at life. Like, she's only 6 years old, which is really young for a horse, and this would be incredible. Every donation, small, I don't even want to call anything small, like even if you just donated €1, like, you know, about 3,000 people watch my videos usually, sometimes more, sometimes less. So if everyone just donated €1, like, we would be there, double what we need just to get her to get these answers. So everything is so appreciated. Thank you so much. I will leave the link below for GoFundMe. But yeah, there's a few things that I've wanted to talk about and share because like just so much awareness has been coming through. So I'm going to try and articulate this in my sleep deprivation-ness. Let me just make sure that it's not time to go visit the puppies. I'll be right back. Okay, not yet. And also I just put the flash on, so it's like maybe a little bit better lighting. Yeah, so something that a few things that I've noticed is like, okay, how do I explain this? Your life is a combination of pretty much the same pattern manifesting in different ways so that you can just see it and move past it and heal and become free, right? I think we come to Earth to experience all this contrast so that we can go on a journey of remembering the truth of who we are and remembering how free, how infinite, how abundant, and how loved and loved we are. And so everything that is not that is meant for you to see it and to learn it and to bring the truth through it. And so for me, one of my patterns, like the pattern that always seems to manifest for me, is being trapped by the thing that I need. Like, it's such an interesting thing that manifested, you know, in my childhood. I felt very trapped in my home in a situation that I couldn't get out of because I was young and, you know, didn't have the resources or whatnot. And I just felt like, you know, there was no one to save me, no one to bring peace to me. There was no escaping it. You know, I couldn't like wait to be 18. Now that I look back, you know, I have a lot of forgiveness, a lot of love in that area. But then it manifested in other things. Like when I was in that car accident and then it triggered cystic acne. Sorry, I also can't like look directly into the lens because of the flash, but it triggered cystic acne, like severe cystic acne that lasted for 7 years. That was one of the most intense experiences I've ever had, because when it's your face, especially because I used to rely on my like vanity, like that is like my one thing that I had to hang on to for self-worth, for, you know, for everything, for like social circles, and it was just like that was the thing. And I was young and I had to go through that, and so I in a way had to lose that, and I then felt like trapped in my skin. Like I felt trapped in my body. I felt like I had no one coming to save me. Like no one had the answers. I didn't have the resources. Again, like this pattern. I didn't have the resources. I was in college. I didn't have the money to like go to a doctor, like not a real doctor, a doctor that could actually fucking help. Not like a doctor that was part of my school that I would go to, even though I would get in trouble for going to that because it would cost like a little bit of money. But I would go to this doctor. They would prescribe doxy, whatever, antibiotics for 6 months, 9 months. And I just knew intuitively, I was like, I can't do this. It's going to destroy my body. I knew Accutane was an option, but I was like, that's going to destroy my liver. I didn't feel called to it. I knew people like experienced a lot of relief from their acne from it, and I completely understand doing it, but I was like, I can't do that. And so I tried, you know, all these different things, and I just felt like, you know, I was always researching, always like changing my diet, always, you know, doing like begging to the universe, and just was again trapped. I don't know necessarily how it was the thing that I need. I think I would have to go deeper to like understand that part of the pattern, but always feeling trapped. And so and then even like even now on the farm, it's been interesting seeing how it's less and less and less the intensity of the pattern. But being on the farm, I have experienced like a lot of issues, or even just traveling in my van. First, I was traveling in my van, the van kept breaking down. Broke down in Spain, and my starter was broken. I broke down, and luckily, like, it was always divine timing. I broke down randomly in a parking lot that was allowing free overnight parking for RVs with all like amenities. Like, there was laundry in the store, like a grocery store walking distance. There was area for water and like all this stuff. I was like set. It was the most perfect place that I randomly just stopped at to empty my water tank, and then I broke down there. So I was trapped. I was in another country, wasn't speaking the language, didn't speak the language of my insurance. Insurance was in French. I was in Spain. I only speak a little Spanish. But then divine timing, there was a neighbor next to me in an RV who at first I thought was like a serial killer, but he was really just like my guardian angel. He spoke Spanish and Italian. No, I spoke Spanish and French. And so we would translate via translator, like, Google Translate. And then he spoke to my insurance, told them what was happening. And then he found a mechanic for me, or he knew a mechanic down the street. Him and his wife would travel to this parking lot like once a year in their RV. And so he brought me I got in the car with this random man the next morning because I knew it was like divine, and he drove me to the mechanic, spoke to the mechanic for me. They fixed my starter, and like he was just so sweet, and so everything always worked out. But then I went to Austria after being on the farm for a month. I broke down there, and I felt like very trapped. I was on the side of the road for 3 days, and then one of the people, the owners here, came to save me, and then I was on the farm here for now like a year, it was divine. I was meant to be here, but also part of it was being trapped because my van was having problems. No one could fix it. No one could save me. Like I brought the van to a few different mechanics in Austria, towed it all over. No one knew how to fix it. Came here, no one would respond. None of the mechanics here in Italy would respond even like about fixing the van or coming to see the van or having me tow the van to them. So then I just waited for a volunteer to come to the farm who could fix it, which eventually did happen. And now there's like issues with my registration because I don't have an Italian or a French driver's license, so I can't even drive the van now. And I was observing this pattern because it just keeps happening more and more and more. It's like, again, my lightness about it is like, oh, I trust you're taking me to where I need to go. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, let's move through this pattern and just like end it. So I'm really sitting with it. I'm tapping on it. I'm looking at it. I'm asking for the deeper message in it. But again, it came through, and I have now a fence around my area here. If I can manage to get up, I will show you. But there's a fence around my new area, and I have 4 gates. So like a gate to drive in and out of, and then 3 gates to walk in and out of. Each gate has a different issue. Like one of the hinges is broken, or like the latches is broken on one, so the dogs keep breaking out of it. There's like a piece that's too long on it and I need to cut it, but I got my injury, so I can't like do any fence work right now. The other gate's too heavy, so it keeps falling and like not being able to open properly because it's too heavy, so it hits the ground. The other one is like too loose, so Zima can push through it, so I have to keep like a piece of wood at the ground to like keep it closed, so I don't use that one. My gate for driving in and out of is fucking heavy, like it's so heavy, and so I don't use that one because I just kind of keep it balanced on this like mud thing. None of the gates work and properly, and so I was like, that is really interesting, like what does that mean? And so like because all the gates are kind of broken, like it makes me, and I added so many, everyone's like, why do you have so many gates? And I was like, I just don't like feeling trapped, but at the same time, like I've made all these gates and I'm kind of trapped. Like they're all kind of broken. I have to tie the one with the broken latch with a rope. And so I am kind of trapped here. And like the gates to getting to where I need to go, it's not an easy thing. Like it's possible, but it's not an easy thing. And so it's like a manifestation of that pattern again. And so I'm like, okay, wow, it's right in front of me. Like the universe is giving me these manifestations of things. Like before, luckily it's just fence with like silly gates. Before it was a job that I was in, you know, I just felt so trapped by this job for 5 years. I wanted to get out. I was applying to all these other jobs. I couldn't figure out how to get from the job to like having a business, or the job to having a YouTube channel, or the job to traveling the world. And like I just couldn't figure out, like I knew what I wanted, but I felt trapped by the thing that I needed in order to survive. And so now I'm just looking at the gate. I'm like, okay, that's what happens. The more that you work through a pattern more and more and more and more, it gets less and less and less intense. And you'll see it in just like tiny little conversations sometimes, like with a stranger on the side of the road, you know, whatever, however it can come up. And so that's a good sign, and we're headed in the right direction. But I also, like, it's important to still continue to learn it until it's gone, and like that frustration is not there anymore, and like the gates are working. And so I bring this up to you, and I wanted to deliver this message today for you, because I think that's where we're at. It's like the planet's shifting. We have a lot going on this year. We have a lot going on in this existence. You came to Earth at this specific time in this reality so that you could help in the shift of Earth, and this new paradigm, this new dimension that we're headed towards. And you've probably done a lot of inner work, a lot of spiritual work. You're probably waking the fuck up, and you've been waking the fuck up, which is not an easy process. Like, people here come to a farm to heal, and they're drawn here for a reason. And oftentimes people expect like the healing to be like, oh, like sitting in the field with the horses and butterflies landing on your face. Like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. You're gonna be met with your demons, with your darkness, with your shadows. You're gonna have all the people here on the farm play out what you need in order to heal. And like, there were a lot of intense times here on the farm, like in many different seasons, where I was like, this is so much. Like, like, I don't know if this is even like in alignment with what I do and what I believe, and what, like, I guess I don't like to have beliefs, but like what I try and live as my reality. I was like, there's so much contrast, but it was like my fast track to healing. And healing is not like this beautiful, easy thing. It's icky, it's tough, it's confronting, it's humbling. And if you have the courage and the awareness to move towards your desires, and move towards your I saw the word for this. Not like, it's kind of like longing. That's not the word, but you know, you're being called to something. You're being called to like a person, like a love situation that you just know is not right. It's like the red flags are there. You know the red flags, but you still have that longing. There's still something, a charge in you that you need to work through. And so if you have the courage and the bravery to move towards it with your awareness, that's when you will heal it. And so it's a time for setting yourself free. It's a time for looking at your patterns and looking at your shadows and looking at your contrasts, and not turning away from them and trying to ignore that they're still there. If that charge is in you, it's your opportunity to heal and to alchemize it by bringing the truth through. And you won't do that if you just shy away from it, and if you just do this like spiritual BS of like, love and light, I am ascending, I don't see any of the contrast. It's like, you do though. Like, we all have our shadow side, and it's about embracing it, and about like really just moving through it, and that is where you find freedom. And so I hope that this message landed with you, and that it gives you the, I guess, motivation, the courage to face what you're going through, and to let go of the shame that you're going through it. Like, just because, you know, maybe you're a spiritual healer or a health coach, or like you've done a lot of inner work, or whatever it is, maybe it's just in your career or your profession, whatever you are, and you're, you know, there's a part of you, just a part, there's many parts of us, there's a part of you that feels shame and guilt that you're still learning this lesson. You know, like maybe you're a health coach, and like you still have trouble not eating chocolate chip cookies in the middle of the night, or you're like a life coach and you still have blow up fights with your partner. Like, it's okay. It's okay. We go through these things so that we can learn them, and then we can deliver these codes of learning them to the people who are ready to receive them. So love yourself through the process. You won't make it through if you don't love yourself through the process. You gotta love and accept these parts of yourself, and know that it's just part of the human experience. You're not meant to be a perfect human. You're meant to be an evolving human. So you got this. I'm proud of you. I see you. I love you. I honor you. It's my honor to be here. I love this life. I love this human experience. It is intense. It is contrast. It is wild and free. And it is special. So I'm going to, I don't know, hopefully go see puppies. Little baby Aslan. Oh, wow. It's such a beautiful time. So if you want to sign up for anything, I got my programs listed below. I have 21 days to rewire your mind, 21 days to know your divine guidance. I got decondition, which it's been such a wild week. I still have the discount going on of what it was at that tier. So if you want to sign up for that, if you see this video today, it will still be live. So $777 off of that program. So it's like nearly half off. It's a 12-week program. It is intensive. It's all about deconditioning your mind to set yourself free, to remember the truth of who you are, and to get what you want, to set yourself free for this new paradigm, but to accept the parts of yourself and to move through them, working with the nervous system, working with the body, going deep into the subconscious, using sound therapy with sound bowls and guided meditations and visualizations. All these things are in that program to help you, go through that process of deconditioning. And then I have some one-on-one options as well. I've gone through this before, but I think I might close my calendar soon for one-on-one, but I will let the universe decide if it is something I should leave open. So I will link all that below. Again, if you want to be a part of Ladybug's journey and donate to a really special good cause for our nonprofit, we are finding answers for wobblers. We are helping science. We are helping Ladybug get a second chance. It's really such an exciting time. So I will link that below if you want to help with that as well. So with that all being said, I will see you in the next video. I think it will be the vlog. If I don't have the energy to edit that, then it will just be a delivered, channeled message like this. So I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.